What's going on, guys? This is Joe Young coming at you with a July update on the 33 gallon. This is my zebra Pleco breeding project tank. I apologize, I'm just still recovering from a cold / cough, so my voice is not the normal voice. So if I do cough, I apologize during the video, but let's get right into the update. Alright, so starting on the right side, I started by adding a few new plants. I went with obviously just low-tech plants, added some narrow leaf Java ferns on the side here, this right here. So the Taiwan moss in here kind of just like died back a little bit. I think it's just transitioning from like high tech back to low tech, and also it's not as green or lush as it was when it was in, you know, the tank with CO2. Obviously CO2 is going to give it a little bit more boost, but also I'm not really adding that much fertilizer in this tank. So right now the only thing I'm dosing is this Seachem Flourish Advanced. It seems like it's, you know, at least keeping up with what I normally dose with the PPS Pro. The one cool thing about this was because I have Flourish, the normal Flourish, and the difference I noticed in it in terms of the ingredients was I noticed that some of the concentrations in the elements and the trace elements are a little bit higher in terms of concentration, and there's also a few elements that weren't in normal Flourish. I didn't really see much of a beneficial gain in terms of the normal Flourish yet. Obviously it's low tech, I can't really determine it because everything grows really slow. Now if I started dosing in my high tech tanks, I probably will see the result a little bit better. But like I said, I don't see any negative like drawback, I guess, by using this versus my PPS Pro that I was using before in terms of this tank. Everything is like, you know, still nice. The only thing was I was dosing this initially, you know, as recommended, twice a week, and then I cut it back down to once a week, just because, you know, there's not really much plants in here to consume, you know, what they recommended on here anyways. So as you can see, stuff are still growing, stuff isn't dying, so that's a good sign. All right, so in terms of new stocks, I have not gotten anything new. Obviously I'm just waiting for them to pair up, breed, and whatnot. So the zebra plecos are actually doing very well in the tank. I did lose a few, like one or two in the very beginning of the build or the setup. After that, you know, everything else, you know, has been pretty consistent, pretty stable. Everyone's eating really well, which is very surprising because these plecos are omnivore. So I normally feed them carnival pellets, the sinking pellets. I'm sorry, it's not really focusing. And also a few algae tablets as well, just to kind of get a balance of both. The one thing I was also trying in here was the discus flakes that Seachem gave me to try. I'm sorry it's not focusing, but they actually absolutely love the flakes. Like once it hits the floor, they go find it and just start eating it. So it's a real positive thing that, you know, these are wild caught zebra plecos, and, you know, transitioning from wild to like some sort of captivity, it's really hard for them to kind of like eat like, you know, flakes or whatever. And they seem to take these flakes, so, you know, obviously that's a good sign. These discus flakes are really high in protein and they're designed for discus, and, you know, these guys, they need their meats. So it's definitely giving them a plus. So definitely, if you guys have any zebra plecos, give the Seachem discus flakes a try. They'll take them. They took for me, and these, you know, all these are wild caught except for like a few, like one or two that are like tank bred. Also, the zebra plecos, they've slowly like kind of picked their territories. You know, there's a bunch of caves around the tank. Each one sits and camps a cave, and another one will like kind of find another little hole outside of the tank. So they kind of have like their own little space, and they seem to share pretty well in terms of different areas and whatnot. All right, and this big green blob in front of you guys is just a bunch more Taiwan moss that I had extra of, that I just kind of combed and just threw it on there, and it's just kind of floating there right now. But I had some Anubias. The Anubias are still, you know, they're very slow growers. They're still green and healthy for me. The Java fern that is on the far right there, it's starting to have a bunch of babies, as you can see off the leaves, just a million of them. So, you know, things are doing really well. The crypts in here aren't really taking off as I thought they would, but also, you know, I guess this is a sand base tank, and really there's nothing in, you know, the sand except for, you know, some fertilizer that I initially threw down the bottom, but I don't think that's enough for them anyways. So they're kind of taking off really slow, at least the ones that I can see. Another cool thing is the mono shrimps in here. A bunch of the females are like carrying, they're buried, and obviously it's really hard to even like get spawns or even like shrimplets with a mono shrimps, because it needs to be in blackish water pretty much for the little, you know, baby shrimps to survive. But yeah, as you can see, this one's like fully buried, the one on the right there. And I haven't seen any like little babies, you know, floating around, but I thought that was pretty cool because at least 3 females in here are buried with eggs. So yeah, this tank has been pretty easy in terms of maintenance. You know, I just do my normal weekly water change, dose like once a week, you know, clean out the filtered floss, you know, once every other week or so. You know, the tank has been running really well. You know, there's no casualties. Everything's, you know, looking really good. The plecos are eating really well, and that's the only real thing I'm worried about. And then so recently I just turned up the temperature to the range in terms of breeding range. So the temperature is the same as pretty much like a discus, where it's like 84, 86 is when they want to start breeding. Anything lower than that, they probably won't breed. But again, you know, a lot of these info is online, so I'm been kind of reading up on it. And so I turned it up to 84, 85 range. So if we have any pairs, they'll start pairing off and hopefully they will breed. But again, I don't know even if I even have a female male in here, but you know, I have so many in numbers. Hopefully they are the right size. Really, I don't think they're big enough yet to breed. So it probably might be a year or another year and a half or so before they even get to size. All right, so I want to talk to you guys about this real quick. So the sump area, I moved Dragoon into this tank, and then I moved the red koi beta into the other one. So I'm kind of doing like a swap every like couple months so that they can kind of get, you know, different environments, swim around, you know, meet each other, see a different beta, and don't, you know, freak out. So like these two, they're used to each other now, so they don't really freak out. When they see me, they get excited. They don't flare, you know, at each other, so they're pretty cool. And then finally, as you can see in the left here, these plants are really growing in. You know, when they first started, it was like one little stem that kind of latched on there. I was like, I thought it would be pretty cool if I toss it in here. It'll grow, wrap around, you know, immerse style, and then it'll consume any nitrates in the water column through that pad anyways. And then really not much going down on here. I'm trying to grow a couple plants, but you know, obviously it's low tech, so everything's really slow. The moss are like kind of like dying back, growing. These carpeting plants down here aren't really carpeting. They're growing, but again, you know, super slow. So it'll just take time. I just have a couple of things floating just for the beta to kind of like rest on, you know, like sleep on. They kind of like to do that anyways. All right, so that's the quick update on the tank. Everything's running really great. No real complaints other than, you know, plants are growing really slow. That's what happens when you go low tech. And you don't get high tech. I kind of got spoiled with my other high tech tanks, and they just grow like basically every 2 weeks, and I have to start trimming. And this one has just been months, and it's like growing like very slow. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoy the update on the Zebra Pleco tank. Let me know what you guys think, and until next time, guys, peace. Oh, and also before I leave here, I wanted to mention that the Japan shingles are growing in super awesome. If you guys are interested in it, I know a few people were mentioning in the other previous video saying that, you know, once they become available for sale, let me know. So we have one available. If you guys are interested in buying it, you know, check out purelyaquatic.com. Are you looking to take on the next challenge in the planet tank hobby? Then make sure to check out the Purely Aquatic Wabikusa Eco Ball. It's simple, unique, and easy to care for. This is the next level in the planet tank hobby, blending immerse and submerge plants together. Stop by the store at purelyaquatic.com to buy your own Eco Ball and rare plants.